Okay, now I'm going to talk about sorry if you hear my cat meowing. She's really wanting me to give her some attention. Um, I'm going to talk about the results and how the 2 week wait went for our first IUI. So, the day after the IUI itself, I was in a whole lot of pain. And I was having problems using the restroom. Um, I couldn't breathe. I was having a lot of problems breathing, especially when I was laying down. So I called the doctor's office because I knew that those were all symptoms of OHSS, over hyperstimulation syndrome. And so they wanted me to come in right away. So I did. It was right before I went back to work. And they did an ultrasound and blood work. And I had 7 large follicles in each ovary. Um, so it seems as if we had 7 eggs ovulate out of each ovary. They were very large. They were 62 millimeters by 40, I want to say 41 millimeters. And they were leaking a lot of fluid. I already had, this is a day after the IUI. I already had fluid in my abdominal cavity. So they told me not to sleep laying down. They told me I had to sleep sitting up, which I like to sleep on my stomach. I can't even sleep on my back, so I didn't know how I was going to do sitting up. But it is what it is. And they wanted me to have a lot of salty food and a lot of Powerade, which I thought it was odd they wanted me to have salty food because typically that'll swell you up. But I found the reason why is because the salt will actually draw in the fluid, so you can process it out. So I got beef jerky and cashews and Pringles, and that's what I ate all day long for a few days. So I was fine to have OHSS. I welcomed it, actually. Not that I wanted to have it, but I wasn't mad about it because I knew that it worked. I ovulated, and that I was inseminated with 84 million swimmers that were all great. So I was really happy about that. I went back to work the next day. It was a little painful. I can only take Tylenol, and I've never responded to Tylenol. So, that was kind of an issue. But again, I was just so happy to be at that point, to have already done an IUI and to know that I ovulated that many eggs and the chances were so great, and I was not stressing out. I didn't have any big dogs. I didn't have any dogs that caused me a lot of stress. Everyone at work was really supportive, and anytime I needed something, they were there to help me, and it was great. I was in a really good mood. I had to sleep sitting up for about a week, probably 6 days actually, and I woke up several times during the night to use the restroom, and my boobs hurt like crazy. I've never felt it feel like that. And that was all from the HCG shot, the trigger shot. I did test out the trigger shot. I wish I could show you the pictures. I'll explain to you later why I don't have those tests. I was feeling very positive. I wasn't negative at all. I was taking prenatals, all those things. So once my OHSS started to go away, I was fine because I still had time to possibly implant. Because I know that if you get pregnant, it comes back, and it's usually worse. And it usually lasts about the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. I took tests every day, and I got faint positives all the way through to the night of 11 days past IUI. 12 days past trigger, which the doctor said it should be out by 10. But it all depends on how your body metabolizes it. So some women it's out in 6 days, and some women it's out in 14. I took, it was 10,000 units of the HCG trigger shot. Mother's Day was my test day. Well, the earliest I could test. Mother's Day was 12 days past IUI, 13 days past trigger. I started to have AF symptoms, which I know that for some women, um, AF symptoms are just like the same symptoms they got for pregnancy. So I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna freak out. Um, my boob tenderness had went down. The OHSS had not come back. And other than frequent urination, I really wasn't having any symptoms. Come the day before my test day, Mother's Day, I knew my period was coming the next day. There was no doubt in my mind. A lot of my customers know what's going on because some of them I just had to tell because the unexplained absences and rescheduling for them, in order for me not to lose them as customers thinking I'm just nuts, and in order to make it easier for when I'm calling in and stuff like that. I went to work on Mother's Day. I took a test first, and it was negative. There, I took a first response, and there was like a shadow of a line, but it wasn't a positive. I went to work, and I went to the bathroom probably 6 or 7 times because I just felt it. I knew I had started, and I didn't. Which I have to say, for those of you who follow me and know this, you already know this, but those of you who don't, my normal luteal phase is 6 to 7 days. So being at 12 days past IUI was just phenomenal, and this is without progesterone supplements, so it was really great. About the 7th time, I went to the bathroom, and at this point I had kind of gotten confident I wouldn't start because it wasn't happening when I go to the bathroom, and I wiped, and there was blood on the toilet paper. And at that moment, I told myself, I was like, Crystal, it's okay, don't get upset. It could be a late implantation. It didn't help. I broke down right there in the bathroom. I wiped again, and there was more. So I pulled myself together, and I went into the salon, and I had to wash a dog, or someone was washing a dog for me, rather. And I just went and took over because I just wanted to be in the back, in the corner where no one could see me. And I'm washing this dog, and I can't even help it. The tears are just falling down my face, and I felt like I'd never felt before. I don't even know how to explain it. I called my husband, and I told him I really wanted to see him. I told him that I started. So he came over, and by the time he came over, I was grooming a dog on my table, and he just walked in the salon. He didn't even care if he should or shouldn't, and he just grabbed me and just hugged me, and I put my dog down, and we went into the back, into a veterinarian area that's not being used, and I just sobbed. I just sobbed because it was like it was the end of. It shouldn't have been the end. That's how I felt. 14 eggs, 84 million sperm, nothing. So my husband, of course, being the positive one, he said, maybe it's just implantation. I was like, no, it's not. So I had to get back to work. I got back to work, and I couldn't help it. I think I pretty much cried all day. No one asked me anything. They all knew. And what made it worse is that it was Mother's Day. And God, that's all I heard. And up until that point, Mother's Day was going to be a great day for me. And it was just a reminder, again, that I'm not a mother. And every cycle that passes is a step backwards from being a mother. One of my last dogs didn't show up, and I was really okay with it. I went home early. I curled up on the couch with my husband, and I just cried. It got heavier as the day went on. I was really hoping I would wake up the next morning and it would be gone, and it wasn't. It was actually really bad. Um, I woke up around 4. I had to put a heating pad on, and I had to take medicine. The pain was the worst menstrual pain I had ever felt. I almost wanted to go to the hospital, and I hate hospitals. I don't go to hospitals, but I felt like something was exploding inside of me. It was terrible. I did take a test for, I don't know why, but I did, and of course it was negative. Um, it was a digital one because that's all I had left, and it said not pregnant. I called the doctors. Well, before that, I ended up having to take one of the muscle relaxers, which I really can't function with them. But at this point, I could. There was nothing else I could do. I wrapped myself in um, a heating pad, and I had to work at 6:45 in the morning. So I was a little late. I went in and I sat on the floor in the corner, and I put the heating pad on as high as I could, put it directly on my skin. I sat there and I cried for about an hour from the pain. And I called the doctor's office as soon as they opened. I told them what was going on. First of all, they were really sad and apologizing to me that it didn't work, which is not their fault. And but I appreciated it. And they said, yeah, my lining, by the way, was 13 and a half millimeters whenever we did the last follicle scan before they decided to do IUI. So they said because of that, you're going to have an extremely, heavy period. And I was like, I understand that, but this pain is real severe. I took at least 6 Tylenols, which, like I said, they don't work for me. I did take that muscle relaxer, and it wasn't enough. I'm sorry. Every time I do a second video, this happens to me. It wasn't enough, and one of the girls got to work, and she had to leave, and I said, oh my God, please can I have a leave? So I took 3 leaves. This is all in about, I guess, 5 hours, but I'm still alive, so it's whatever. And the pain subsided. I could still feel the cramps, but it wasn't as bad. I could just feel them, and that was okay. I went home, and they wanted me to come in, for the next baseline, and they were checking for like cysts and stuff like that. Come see. I'm gonna be in the video. It's pretty. Oh, you look so mad. Why so angry? Why angry? Pretty. Anyway, so I went in for the baseline ultrasound and got a surprise. No, I was not pregnant. I wish. However, if I would have been pregnant, I don't even know if it would have been early. They wouldn't be able to see anything. But anyway, so my uterus was fine, but my ovaries were so large that they were touching each other. My ovaries were 98 millimeters by 84 millimeters, each one. All 7 of those follicles were massive. I don't remember the actual measurements for each one of them because I was just in shock. She couldn't even fit my ovary in one screen. It was really terrible. She said, are you okay? Are you in pain? And I said, not really today, but I really was, on Monday. This was on Wednesday. And she was like, I don't know how you're not in the hospital in pain. So basically my ovaries are the size of like small Nerf footballs. And obviously we can't do another cycle right now. So we have to, they wanted to put me on birth control, and I said no because of what birth control did before, and I just missed a lot of work from the IUI. So I said, let's just take a cycle without, birth control and see what happens. So we're going to see what happens. Since the IUI, since I had my menstrual, the first day was really bad. After that wasn't so bad. It wasn't really heavy. It was normal. I mean, my first day is heavy. Second day is usually heavy. Third day is medium to light, and then I'm done. And that's what happened this time. The pain was just more. Today, for some reason, which today is like, I mean, Wednesday was cycle day 3, and today is Saturday. So cycle day 6, I guess. I'm one of the people, whenever I have AF, I actually get constipated instead of having diarrhea, and it hurts really bad. And right before I pass, usually a clot, I get this really just terrible, weird cramp. It's very dense. It hurts. It's really uncomfortable. I have to sit down because it usually will take me to my knees. I had that today, and I'm done. I'm not on my cycle. I didn't pass anything, but it hurt really bad, and I was really uncomfortable. I still have a, like, when I wipe, there's like a brown discharge, but that's it. It's not a flow. It's literally just little stringy brown bits, which I guess is just left over from the lining. But anyway, so what's in store for the future for us is next cycle starting. I'll go for a cycle day 3 baseline ultrasound again with blood work, see if the ovaries have recovered. If they have recovered, then we'll be doing our second run of IUI, and we have not decided yet whether or not it's going to be, whether we're going to just try oral, or if we're going to do oral meds and injectables, or if we're only going to do injectables. It just depends on the bank account, really, because this cycle ended up costing us about $3,500, and we were expecting more like $1,200. So it really hit our savings really hard because of all the extra medicine we had to buy. We spent, initially it was $5, then an additional $300, then an additional $300, then an additional $500. So we spent way more than we were expecting. So I don't know how we're going to do the next IUI. I have talked to my doctor, though, about sedation for the IUI, because I've done a lot of research, and a lot of women with vaginismus, they opt for sedation, and I think I'm going to do the same thing. Hopefully my RE will agree. When I had the surgery, I was completely out, and my tubes did not spasm, and they were fine. They were clear. When I had the HSG, they spasmed. They weren't okay. And I'm in an extreme amount of pain. So I'm wondering if my vaginismus had an effect on our IUI, because everything was right. The odds were definitely in our favor, and we should have gotten pregnant. We don't have, yes, I know, we don't have other issues that could have caused it. So, I mean, who does? Who can say which cycle is going to work? But of all the chances that we've had, this was the best. And so we really thought that this one would work, and I'm wondering if vaginismus took a part in it not working. If maybe during the IUI, when they put in the speculum, maybe the stress under my body and anxiety and pain and all that, what if it damaged the process of the IUI? It's very possible. So we're going to try to do sedation for the next one. That way it was just better chances. But we'll wait and see what the doctor says. We have a whole month to wait. So that's where we are. Still trying. If you have any questions about the IUI or anything that I might have left out, any specifics about follistim, anything about what the ultrasounds are like, what the injections are like, Just let me know if you're going through an IUI for the first time. I would be more than happy to share my experience in a little bit more detail, or to answer any questions that you might have. If you suffer from migraines or vaginismus, I would, love to answer any questions you might have. Thanks for following me. I guess that's it. I'm saying a lot. Have a good night. Thanks.